Americans cannot afford to buy a home or rent or a suitable apartment for that matter, making housing a central issue for voters in the upcoming election. The Harris and Trump campaigns have both laid out plans aimed at boosting home construction. Among Harris's policy proposals, tax incentives to build $3 million worth of additional homes and rentals, and $25,000 to individuals or families in down payment assistance. Donald Trump's policies would bolster the housing market by the same kind of policies he's used as a business leader in New York. All over the country, people with more education say they're leaning more Democratic, a shift that's reshaping American politics. One of the places where it could have the most impact this year is in Center County, Pennsylvania, of course, a key battleground state, 2024. This is SRN News.
Balance of Nature supplements, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm a doctor myself. I've used it and I've turned a lot of my patients onto it as well. It's a good product.
I've actually taken the bottles up to him, and my doctor, he tells me keep doing it.
I am 87 years old, and I am an RN. My PhD work is in anatomy and physiology. I watched your advertisement on TV, and I thought I'll try it for just a month. I have stayed on it. Just think it is a marvelous product.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer. And for a limited time, get 35% off your first order with free shipping and our money-back guarantee. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code ERIC.
Rocket 1025.
With your updated forecast, I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley from the Weatherology Weather Center. Bright sunshine expected today with daytime highs approaching 65. Winds out of the east, 8 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies again tonight. Lows level off around 45. Daytime highs approaching 79 tomorrow. Ample sunshine expected. Mainly sunny skies and dry Friday and Saturday with highs in the mid-60s. Taking a look at the extended forecast, 71 Sunday, 77 Monday, and 70 on Tuesday. Another look at the short range. We should top out at 65 today. Lows level off around 45 tonight. Highs reach 79 tomorrow. Get up to the minute weather updates from the Weatherology Weather Center. I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley on this NWKS radio station. Right now, it's 42 degrees.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with the team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code SAVE, or text SAVE to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code SAVE.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text SAVE to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Attention Northwest Kansas high school students. Colby Community College is offering the Colby Commitment Scholarship, a no-cost tuition, fees, and books award for Northwest Kansas high school students on free and reduced lunches and all juniors and seniors at Thomas County high schools. Don't qualify? Classes are just $50 a credit hour for tuition, fees, and books. No games, no gimmicks. It's quality education at an affordable price. Ask your guidance counselor about the Colby Commitment Scholarship or visit colbycc.edu/commitment.
The one hail of a sale continues at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get huge savings on not just lightly hailed on vehicles, but also ones that don't have hail or have had the hail fixed. How about a 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 SLE with hail up to $13,000 off when trading in an eligible vehicle, now only $49,000. A 24 Chevy Tahoe RST with hail up to $14,000 off, now just $58K. It's one hail of a sale, and it continues at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas, online at hurlchev.com.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery, ingestion, and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
Even though your attention has turned back to school with events and activities, you just can't forget everything going on at home. That's where your local Hoover Lumber Ace hardware stores in Goodland and Colby come in. Keep the lawn in check with mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Craftsman, Toro, and Ego. They are still your local Benjamin Moore paint retailer, and they still have that amazing selection of outdoor grills and griddles from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. Plus, their helpful and knowledgeable staffs are some of the best in the Northwest. It's all at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
The Farmers State Bank of Oakley has been financing agriculture since the day we opened our doors. Hello, this is Corbin, and we are proud to be your locally owned partner in ag. We invite you to come and visit with us when you need to purchase new or used farm equipment, or need any type of agriculture or business loan. We have the knowledge, experience, and financial resources to keep you growing. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, a tradition of community and agriculture for over 115 years. Member FDIC.
You ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
The region's only local sports talk.
Listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Broadcasting on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, simulcasting on Goodland's 730 Gold KLOE.
Guys everywhere.
Discussing it all from the preps.
Showtime for the Lady Eagles.
To the pros.
McKinnon is in at running back. First down and goal to go. Play action fake. Right side throw. Touchdown! Kansas City!
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, as well as the Insurance Agency, Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
And happy good Wednesday morning, everybody. We are with you here on the Morning Blitz. Broadcasting, as always, on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, simulcasting on 730 Gold KLOE here on this Wednesday morning. You also see our beautiful faces and our American colors with Chevrolet GMC video stream. Ross Volkmer and Max Gershon with you here on October the 23rd. It's a Wednesday, a little chilly, 41 outside. Going to be a high of 67. We're finally getting those fall temperatures, Max. Have you been able to enjoy the golf links in these fall temps?
I did yesterday. It was good. It was great out. It was. I kind of like what we have right now, where it's cold, very cold in the morning, and then later in the day, it kind of heats up, and I'm able to play some golf.
Well, it certainly is. I'm still getting used to this waking up and it's pitch black dark, but that will all change here in a matter of a couple of weeks, and then it'll all change. It'll be reversed. So I don't know. I kind of like it when it's dark because that means my kids sleep in later, especially on the weekends. But if it flipped, then it's harder for me to get out of bed, especially on the weekdays. So it's kind of a give or take for me on all kinds of stuff. But anyway, glad you could join us here today on the Morning Blitz. As always, the F&B Bank text line is open for your thoughts, comments, and questions. 785-899-2222 is the number part of the Morning Blitz here today, where we will be visiting with, I'll tell you what, I didn't plan on this happening out this well, but we'll be visiting with Jesse Newell of the Kansas City Star. He writes and covers the Kansas City Chiefs. And so we'll visit with Jesse Newell. I did not plan on it happening out that we would get to visit with him about the DeAndre Hopkins news. So we will get to do that. By the way, if you haven't heard, DeAndre Hopkins is going to be a Chief, it sounds like. They are working on finalizing a trade as Kansas City for DeAndre Hopkins, bringing him to Kansas City for what is a 5th-round pick, possibly a 4th-round pick, if DeAndre Hopkins turns out to actually do something for Kansas City. We will get to our college football Power 5 on the back end of the show today. We usually do it in the beginning of the show, but there's so much going on, local sports-wise and regional sports-wise. We got to kick off the show with that. And so we will get to DeAndre Hopkins here in just a little bit. But I wanted to start off kind of on the local side of things, Max, because, boy, yesterday it was a great day for area golfers. It really was. Not only did, Goodland and Colby both make the cut at the tournament to compete in day number 2. And Amelia Bowles' lead at the end of day number 1 going into day 2 from Rollins County ended up being a great showing for Northwest Kansas. It really was. Goodland finishing in 3rd place as a team, bringing home more hardware for that trophy case. But the real story I want to kick off with, and we'll get to more in Goodland in a second, is Amelia Bowles, Rollins County, lone qualifier from Rollins County. She is your state champion in girls golf this year as she shot a 147, besting Margaret Ulrich of Wichita Collegiate, who, by the way, was a 3-time repeat champion. And this story gets even better. So Ulrich and Bowles, they are neck and neck at the end of day 1. She has a 1-shot lead on Ulrich. Ulrich ends up finding a way to make it be dead even at the end, but a tiebreaker gives Amelia Bowles the victory. And guess what Amelia Bowles had to do in order to put herself in the spot to capture a state championship? Sink a 20-foot snake on 18 on the last hole of the tournament. Just center cut it. Boom. Dropped it in the cup. And she knocks off Margaret Ulrich of Wichita Collegiate, who had won 3 consecutive state championships. But Amelia Bowles gets it done. And what a great story for Amelia Bowles. Because not only, once again, this is the first year of the Rollins County girls golf program, I believe. I've heard that before multiple times. So she was playing on the boys team prior in the spring. That's what she was doing to get some competition in. And now she's playing in the women's side where she is the best golfer in 321A, undisputed now because she won state just yesterday. But here's the other thing that I bring this up a lot as we continue to push through this era of seeing women do other sports. You know, particularly girls wrestling is the biggest one that we see this in a lot. But with Amelia Bowles, she makes history because she becomes the first ever girls state golf champion in that program in high school's history, in Rollins County's history. Think about that program's that school's been around, for almost 100 years now up there in Atwood. And she is the first one ever to capture a state championship in girls golf, which is super cool. It's something, once again, I always say, it's something that cannot be taken away from you. You can wear that as a medal of honor. And not that you're going to go out and brag about it, but, I'm Amelia Bowles, and I'm the first ever state golf champion in Rollins County high school history, which is so cool to see. Very, very cool and a great story. Like I said, to get it done on 18 of the final hole and sink a 20-foot putt to knock off the 3-time defending champ, that's clutch. And it's big time. So congratulations to Amelia Bowles on a state championship.
Yeah, and it said, I'm reading this here on Keisha's website, that her lowest round last year was 76 with an average of 81. Obviously, I know she had, last time we were talking about her, had that 73 to win that tournament just over Allison Cure of Goodland. But yeah, you can see the improvement. She took sixth at the 321A state tournament after back-to-back rounds of 83 last year. So yeah, she's improved a lot after a good season last year, which is cool to see. And yeah, just impressive stuff for Amelia Bowles.
Yeah, very, very good stuff. So congratulations to her on being a state champion there at 321A, and congratulations on being extra clutch as well with that big time putt there on 18. Also, congratulations to Connie Livengood and the Goodland Cowgirl golf team. They finish in 3rd place. They went into day number 2 sitting in 4th. They were able to overtake Jeff West and finish with what was a combined score of 373. That was only, let's see here. I want to make sure. No, I'm sorry. I'm looking at round number 1, aren't I? Gosh darn it. That's not right. I want to know why in the world this is the page that it pulled up when I went to scores. Nonetheless, Goodland finishes in 3rd place. They were behind. I'll pull up because I wrote it down in my notes. They finished in 3rd place behind Silver Lake and St. Mary Colgan, who shot 718s over the 2 days. Goodland shot 734, 16 strokes back of those two teams. They had great performances from their typical big 3. Allie Cure finishing in 5th place. Natalie Cure coming in 7th place to lead the way. And then Tori Jones finishing in 12th place to kind of get those top 3 in a good spot to position themselves to finish in 3rd place at the state championship. So a great showing from them. to lead Goodland Cowgirl Golf and bring home some more hardware late last night back here to the Mountain Time Zone. So anyway, I just got a great day overall. Colby, by the way, finished with a combined score. Colby finished in 6th in the team standings. They were pretty distant, 6th place, but they did have Logan Nolan, who did finish in 7th in the individual standings, earning herself an individual medal. So when you look at it, you had 5 area girls finishing in the top 20, which was very, very good. Natalie Wadersky was just outside at 25 for Colby. And then you had, of course, Goodland finishing as a number 3 team, and Rollins County's Amelia Bowles winning a state championship, which was great. So a great showing there from area golfers yesterday at the 321A state golf tournament there in Emporia.
It's always cool to see in all of these, in all the sports, especially in this area, is the familiar last names, even for me, like just Wendersky and Cure and all the families that have, a bunch of multi-sport athletes that are playing golf, and they have the brothers playing football or whatever it is. It's really cool to see, and it kind of, familiarizes me with a lot of the names. And
just wait, big city, big school guy. You'll see all these kids playing 3 sports. You'll see them on the basketball floor. You'll see them running track or baseball or softball. You'll see them playing all throughout the year, just in their different sports. You got to have multi-sport athletes out here.
I love it.
These programs work, which I would agree 100%. So it's very, very cool. And in more, just a little bit more thought in the Goodland side of things, visiting with Coach Goods preseason before the season began, which was pretty much right at the end of August. It's amazing how quickly we see the season come to a close in the fall sports. I mean, really, if you think about it, fall sports is 2 months. That's all it really is. You get September and October. And then, like, for example, some volleyball teams, their seasons are over. I mean, that was 6 weeks. It's done. 6 weeks, the season's over in the fall. Football, you might get 8 weeks. Could you get 8 games, guaranteed? No, that's not right. You get 9 games guaranteed. So, it's over in pretty much 8-9 weeks. It's over in 2 months. It's amazing how quick the fall sports season goes. And then you compare that to like basketball, for example, which is a 4-month marathon. You start it in December and kind of ends up being done in March. So it's just kind of different. And and that's the way it is in Kansas. I don't want to say, because football is definitely different in Texas. I believe they start like in August and they're not done till like December. So it's way different there. But in Kansas, it's pretty much 2 months of your fall sports, and that's it. Because the golf season's over. It started there early September. It's done here in late October. But congratulations to all the area athletes and girls golfers, and congratulations to the Goodland Cowgirls. So, like I said, Coach Goods visiting with her. She felt good about this team going into this year. They ended up winning every single tournament that they were in for Goodland, except for the final one, and that's okay. They're going to return their top 3 golfers next year. So look for them to probably go and chase more hardware in the 2025 season. Okay, let's move on here. Let's go to, I want to get to volleyball real quick before we go on to DeAndre Hopkins, but I talked about yesterday how about Colby with Oakley and Hoxie all advanced from the regional round, which was yesterday and Monday, to the sub-states, which will be on Saturday. And so yesterday, there were the smaller schools, your 1AD1 and 1AD2 schools that were playing. And there were 7 more area volleyball teams that kept their season alive, at least for a few more days until Saturday, advancing to the sub-state round. Rollins County was one of those. They went 1-1 up there in Mankato, Rock Hills. They went 1-1. They beat Decatur Community, but lost to Rock Hills. By the way, Decatur Community did not advance. They end their season at 12-21. Greeley County went 2-0 with sweeps of Osborne and Central Plains. They advance to the sub-state round. St. Francis moved on. They went 2-1 with wins over La Crosse and Ness City, but did lose to Quinter, and Quinter's season came to an end. They were unable to advance. It was, I think it was Ness City and St. Francis that advanced on. Wallace County swept both Dighton and Deerfield to advance to Saturday. Wheatland, Grinnell, and Cheyenne, they were able to both pick up enough wins to advance on. So Wheatland, Grinnell, and Cheyenne will play again on Saturday. And then you've got Golden Plains able to win just one match is what they needed to make it to the sub-state round. So once again, you've got Golden Plains, Wheatland, Grinnell, Cheyenne, Wheatland, Grinnell, and Cheyenne, Wallace County, St. Francis, Greeley County, and Rollins County. All those teams joined Colby, Hoxie, and Oakley as teams that are still alive in the high school volleyball postseason. as we sit here right now. Like I mentioned, Decatur Committee season's done, Quinter's season done, Tri-Plains Brewsters, their season is over, so is Weskin. All those team seasons are ended because they did not win, in most cases, did not win 2 matches yesterday in kind of that triangular round robin scenario. But still, 10 teams still alive. And now, as I was digging into the sub-state, that means it's reseeded kind of again, depending on how you did in the regionals and your overall record. And now we'll find out if you can beat the big dogs in order to advance to state.
So I think I'm looking at the right thing here. Colby is scheduled to play Norton.
Yes, they are in Beloit. Colby is going to Beloit, and they've got Norton, I think, in the first round, but they have to get past Beloit.
Yes, Beloit is playing Ellsworth.
And I mean this in a absolutely non-negative way, but good luck. Beloit is a powerhouse program. So, like I said, you can have a great season. You can have a great regional. The one thing they wanted to do with this new postseason format, Max, was to prevent from having a sub-state that was so loaded with like your Beloits and your Smoky Valleys and whoever else you want to throw in there. These other, like they might have 3 or 4 really good teams in the same sub-state. Only one of them would advance out of state. So they're trying to break it up more, and by reseeding it, making sure that more of these great teams don't just get left at home. They do make it to the state tournament. That's what they're hoping to see. And I think, we're still going to see the same teams make it there. You're still going to see, I think, the really, really good teams make it there more than likely. But it will make it harder for other teams to get there because they play in a weak sub-state. That's the one thing. It'll make it more difficult.
Right.
So you're going to have to beat the best to be there. And then it's even tougher at state. So, yeah, like you mentioned, that was one of them that I saw. I didn't go diving too deep in. I did see that Colby would go to Beloit. They have to win 2 matches, and that's kind of that's more tournament style. So if you lose, I think you're done in sub-state. So you have to win 2 matches. They'll have to beat Norton, which will not be easy, and then they'd have to beat more than likely Beloit in order to make it to the state tournament in Colby's instance.
Yeah, that's what it looks like here, and that's on the 26th.
That's right. That'll be Saturday. Saturday is when this all will take place across the state. Yes. And I guess I will dig this up here real quickly. I know I was looking at regional stuff. I was going to see if I can find the sub-state stuff. Maybe I can't.
Looks like, the other matchups.
Yeah, what's in 2A? Go to 2A.
You want me to go towards 2A?
Well, I know the other matchup on the other side of the bracket, you've got Hoisington, which is the top 1 and 3. That will be difficult. But Holcomb is there. Yeah, Holcomb, Lakin, Hoisington, which all those teams, by the way, they were playing in Hoisington last year for sub-state volleyball, so they're going right back to the same spot. But what about like Hoxie and Oakley? What do you got there? Crack research team.
And that would be in 2A regional.
2A subs. I want 2A substates. 2A substates.
Okay,
that's what I want to find real quickly here. I'll go dig in here too. See if I can pull it up.
2A. It says.
So I go to class 2A, and I go down to substate regional 4, or sorry, substate regional 2.
Okay, now I'm with it.
And so now you've got Hoxie and Oakley will all be going to Sylvan Lucas, and Hoxie is the 4 seed. They will take on Sylvan Lucas, and Oakley will take on Wichita County. The winner of those 2 matches will meet in the finals. So Oakley have to beat Wichita County. Hawks have to beat Sylvan Lucas in order to have a chance to go. And then whoever wins those 2 matches will then go on to state. So,
and that'll be in Sylvan Lucas.
That's right. It'll be in. I'm guessing that will be in Sylvan is where that'll be. So
yeah.
So anyway, Sylvan Grove. So that's what's going on in 2A, and then we'll know more about the 1A bracket. I think after today, it took about 24 hours for them to get that 1A bracket put together. But in recapping it all, 10 teams still alive for postseason play in volleyball from the region, but now it's another step up in competition. You've kind of weeded out the weaklings. Now it's time to play the big dogs, and we'll see how it all comes out. That's on Saturday. Okay, let's transition out of here. Let's get to the big news. I know Max is probably chomping at the bit to talk about, and that would be that DeAndre Hopkins early this morning, news breaking. Golly, that had to be at like 6:00 Central Time that this news broke. That DeAndre Hopkins, former Texans wide receiver, former now Titans wide receiver, is being traded by the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to give a 5th round pick, possibly could be a 4th, depending how much DeAndre Hopkins plays and how It could be. I don't know. It depends on games played. Sometimes it depends on stats, catches, snaps. It depends, but that could possibly change it to fourth. Right? Personally, I think it's a steal.
Yes.
It's a steal of a deal. I don't know. DeAndre Hopkins has kind of gotten lost. You know, he was great in Houston. He was considered one of the best wide receivers. He went to Tennessee to get his money, understandably so. Really has kind of gotten forgot about in Tennessee.
Well, he was good in Arizona. You know, he had those.
That's right. He was in Arizona. I forgot about that. Yeah.
That was, it was somewhat short-lived, and so was his stint in Tennessee, but he's a guy you can trust. He's got the hands of a receiver the Chiefs need. There's a lot to like, and this has been rumored for, probably 4 years that we were going to get DeAndre Hopkins. Every time that there's an opportunity for him to be on the move, whether it's free agency or the trade market, it seems like the Chiefs have always popped up as someone to look out for, and now it's finally happened. And yeah, I think it's a great deal. I think the 5th round is pretty much what I think Hopkins is worth right now in the wide receiver trade market. So yeah, I like the deal. I was kind of surprised, to be honest. He wasn't. I kind of put that one away. I didn't think that he was someone on the short list, but here we are, and I'm interested to see how quickly they get him, ready and really active as a part of this offense.
Well, think about DeAndre Hopkins, a big guy. I think he's 6'5", 6'4", 6'5". He's tall. He's got humongous hands. I do know that. His hands are just massive. Like I said, he's on the back end of his career. He's not on the rise. But, and once again, to me, he could come to Kansas City and he could have a huge impact and he could have no impact. Quarterback wide receivers are a lot like a marriage. You got to have that great connection, that great relationship to trust in each other on what you're going to do. So he may come to Kansas City and he may not do a whole lot for a few weeks before him and Mahomes finally get some chemistry. You want to know what I thought was fascinating? Because it was late last night and even earlier this morning, there was rumors swirling around that the Chiefs were going to go after Cooper Kupp. And that would have been a grand slam addition for the Chiefs, in my opinion. I would have loved that even more than DeAndre Hopkins. But the price was a little rich, and I understand it. And Brett Veach is a very, very smart general manager. He knows when it's too rich for his own blood. He got out of that deal. But if they could have found a way to pull that thing off, that would have been a sweet deal.
Yeah, I think there was talks about it. I don't know how far the talks went when the Rams said that they weren't going to pay off his entire contract for the Chiefs. So I think that kind of sealed that.
That was the biggest thing, right? That was the biggest thing that Kansas City not only wanted was they didn't want to give up a huge draft capital, but they didn't want to pay a whole lot of money because they don't have a lot of capital to pay a guy.
But I think the thing that really steered, I think, even if there was some talks, I think that Veach was going to be very hesitant because of the injuries of Cooper Kupp. And are you even getting a healthy wide receiver? He hasn't played that much this year. So I don't know. That was something that was concerning me. I know there was a very, out of nowhere, it felt like last night on Twitter, there was just everyone was talking Cooper Kupp to the Chiefs. And then this morning, my alarm goes off at 6. I roll over and I see Adam Schefter tweeting Hopkins to the Chiefs. So I'm pleased. I know we could have been Cooper Kupp, I guess, maybe theoretically, but this felt more of a realistic Chiefs kind of move, and I'm pleased with it.
Yeah, once again, I don't know what the impact will be, particularly right away within the first 3 to 4 weeks. I don't know what that impact will be from Hopkins. He'll be probably limited on a package play. You talked about it earlier, Max, about how the Chiefs would probably love to get someone back that knew their system, like Demarcus Robinson, like you mentioned before, and that's fine. But like I said, I don't know. I don't know for sure if that was going to be something that they were able to do, and that's okay. But they've moved on. They've gotten DeAndre Hopkins, and we will find out how much of an impact he can make for Kansas City in the short term. And I don't know how many more years DeAndre Hopkins has on his deal. If this is in the last year of his deal, will the Chiefs get to keep him for a couple of years after this? I don't know. That'll be interesting to find out. I don't know I don't know those details.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think since he's played for a couple teams, I'm sure he's going to be able to adjust quicker than other receivers to having a new playbook and a very interesting and in-depth playbook like Andy Reid's. But yeah, that's the part for me. How early can he actually have a impact in this offense? Because it's an offense that it needs a little boost at times. So it's going to be, I'm interested to see, because a lot of the times we see receivers kind of slowly gain confidence. We saw that with Rashee Rice last year. I'm hoping we're going to see that with Xavier Worthy, but adding his 50-50 ball ability with Worthy's speed on the outside, the running game we have right now, of course, Kelsey and Noah Gray in the middle, I think it's a perfect addition and exactly what Chiefs fans have been asking for a number of years.
It'll be interesting to see, once again, if they can keep him around for another year. Then they've got him, Rashee Rice. Hollywood Brown is still a part of this team that we haven't seen him play. I mean, the wide receiver core looks very, very good if everybody's healthy, but that's been the biggest issue. They can't keep anybody healthy in that wide receiver core. So, I don't know. I think, personally, I think the guy that gets overlooked a lot is Justin Watson. I think he's actually a pretty good player for them, and Mahomes has a pretty good connection with him.
Yes.
And so, once again, I'll just say this for Kansas City Chiefs fans. This would be my opinion from the 5,000, the 30,000 foot view, is that just don't have a lot of high expectations for DeAndre Hopkins, I think, in the first few weeks. This is a guy that's never played with Mahomes. They don't know each other probably that well on the field. Maybe they know each other well off the field. I have no clue. But on the field, they've never really played together that anybody really knows of, especially in game situations they never have. So it's going to take a little bit of time for them to figure this relationship out and what works and what doesn't work for them. So if you're starting DeAndre Hopkins in your fantasy lineup, I don't know if it's going to be a smart move for a few weeks. It might pay off down the road. And that's probably what Kansas City's hoping for. You think about it. The Chiefs are still the only unbeaten team in the NFL, and they have had no wide receiver core. Their defense has been elite, and that's the biggest reason why they're winning. And if they can get some sort of production out of DeAndre Hopkins here over the next couple of weeks, and then hopefully that grows, season progresses on, it's even better.
Well, last thing I want to say here quickly is that Juju probably isn't going to play against the Raiders. So that's just another receiver that the Chiefs are going to be without. So honestly, Hopkins is going to need to probably jump right in unless you want to see Sky Moore, which I do not want to see Sky Moore. I want to make that clear to everyone that
I'm not saying that we're not going to see DeAndre Hopkins play in his first game here this week. We will see him. I'm just saying, if you're looking for production, probably not.
Right, but I am saying if Juju and Rice are still playing, you can kind of afford to maybe ease him in a little more, but he's kind of gonna have to jump right in and get a lot of targets.
Don't question it. Don't question the Big Red. He'll throw 4 tight ends out there. He don't care.
I know, but
4 tight ends out there.
I think everyone is starting to have enough Sky Moore cardio workouts on Sundays. So he just runs up and down the field and doesn't do anything. So I'd rather see Hopkins run up and down the field than Sky Moore. So
well, you'll probably get those. You'll probably get that here coming up on Sunday. All right, let's get to a break. When we come back, we are going to be joined by Jesse Newell of the Kansas City Star. We will visit with him about this move, bringing in DeAndre Hopkins, and after the end, the Chiefs being the only undefeated team left. That's next here on the Morning Blitz.
October is National Cooperative Month. Midwest Energy is a customer-owned cooperative, meaning everyone who takes service is a part owner. You vote to choose your board of directors, and you share in the economic success of the co-op. Like all co-ops, Midwest Energy promotes growth in our communities through employee involvement, by supporting schools, and through the Midwest Community Fund. Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative, making energy work for you.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning, this is Steve Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Wednesday, October 23rd. And on the overnight sell side, beef corn lower 3/4 cents at $4.15 3/4. March down 3/4 at $4.28. Half May down 1/2 cents at $4.36 1/4. July down 3/4 at $4.40. And December of 2025 down 1.5 at $4.40 1/4. November soybeans down 4 1/4 on the overnight at $9.87 1/2. January down 3 3/4 at $9.96 3/4. March down 3 1/4 at $10.09 1/4. May down 3 cents at $10.23 3/4. Chicago wheat, the December contract lower 7 on the overnight at $5.69. March down 7 cents at $5.89 1/4. May down 7 cents at $5.99 1/2. July down 6 3/4 at 6.0. Kansas City wheat, the December contract lower 6 3/4 at $5.69 $5.79 3/4. March down 6.5 at $5.94 1/4. May down 6 cents to $6.03 3/4. And July down 5 3/4 at $6.11 1/4. On the cattle side of things this morning, live cattle are trading at $188 a hundredweight. Feeders at $249.50. On the stock market this morning, the Dow down 256 at 42,913. The S&P down $21 at 5,871. Gold lower $3.90 an ounce at 2,755. And crude oil down $1.16 a barrel at 70.58. If you have any questions about marketing grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call, John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484, or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Pluto, Jared Law, or Tyler Dosh at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
Out here, we raise stronger people, stronger crops, and we proudly raise our flag to that. Let the weather, pests, and pressures try to beat us down. We only keep growing up. With the next-gen genetics, the pure acre-for-acre know-how of these soils, and a deep pride of our roots, we are born to raise at Hogemeyer. Learn more at therightseed.com.
When challenging conditions arise, we don't back down. We up our game. Outpacing the competition with innovations fueled by Bayer's R&D, keeping you equipped with an expanded portfolio, elite genetics, and additional local test plots. Channel leads the field, so you can rise above. See how you can save at channel.com/finance24. Read and follow pesticide label directions, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today and ask about the Kubota construction lineup. Take care of your Kubota construction needs at Colby Ag Center, 305 West Horton Avenue in Colby, Kansas.
It's the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Did you eat a lot of paint chips when you were a kid? Why?
Your daily dose of sports.
Minutes to the top of the hour here on a Wednesday morning. Ross Volkmer, Max Gershon with you here on the Morning Blitz. Hope everyone's having a good start to their Wednesday. We are pleased to welcome in on the Hoover Lumber Hardware Hotline our guest today. I didn't plan on it working out this great, but it worked out fantastically. Jesse Newell, our friend from the Kansas City Star, joins us now on the phone. Good morning, sir. Thanks for spending some time with us today.
Yeah, no problem. Good morning, Ross.
I got to say, I didn't plan on having you on with breaking news, but we have breaking news this morning. DeAndre Hopkins going to the Kansas City Chiefs. Your thoughts when you saw this pretty much come down the newsreel?
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense. It was funny. We were kind of talking about this last week when Bill Barnwell from ESPN came out with an article, and his projection was that that Hopkins would go to the Chiefs, or his trade proposal, Hopkins go to the Chiefs for a 5th-round pick. Instead, it's a conditional 4th-rounder, which by all intents and purposes is a 5th-round pick. So, listen, they had interest in Hopkins before when he was available in trade earlier, and also as a free agent. So it makes sense that they would have interest in him again. And once Juju Smith-Schuster started to play and then couldn't finish off last game, was out this week as well with his hamstring injury, you're just getting to a point where you need some depth. And the Chiefs could be set at receiver in the long term. Xavier Worthy will be another year older next year and another year of experience under his belt. Richie Rice will probably be facing some sort of suspension, but will be able to play at some point. And so the Chiefs didn't need a long-term answer. They needed a short-term one. They needed a guy that could help out, toward the end of the season here and step in and be a productive player. And so Hopkins made a lot of sense, and Tennessee had a few extra receivers on their roster, and they're not going anywhere in the playoffs this year. So these two sides coming together did seem like it might be something that would happen. So officially this morning, they come up with a deal. And like I said, I think both sides can benefit from this, and it makes sense for the Chiefs, aiming for a 3rd straight Super Bowl and so depleted receiver to go out there and try to make a move for a guy like Hopkins and who can help out right away.
Yeah, and you're talking about helping out right away. Obviously, Juju is going to be out for this Raiders game, and there's been some slow production everywhere else in the receiving core. How much of an impact do you see, or at least how many targets do you think that DeAndre Hopkins is going to have for Sunday against the Raiders?
Well, I mean, that's a tricky question because, I think Andy Reid's preference, and you've seen this with what they've done in past moves, is to get guys back that have been here before. I've heard sort of football lingo when you go to different NFL teams. It's kind of like trying to learn a new language, you know what I mean? And try to do that on the fly mid-season. It's a lot easier if they would have traded for like Demarcus Robinson, who's been with the Chiefs, or Juju Smith-Schuster, picking him up to kind of understand the language right away, kind of like riding a bike. If you learned the language before, you can go back and do it again, and maybe there's a few more tweaks that you don't realize, but those can be kind of taught relatively quickly. I guess I'd go back a couple years ago. The Chiefs traded for a receiver mid-season, Kadarius Toney, who had no previous experience with the Chiefs, and kind of how they started out with him was they had some package plays for him ready to go. Where, hey, here's 5 or 10 plays. If we call these for you, this is what you do. And then you come straight back out of the game. So I would say early on, I would not expect him to have the whole route tree, the whole playbook down, just because, that's what you spend all training camp doing. But in the meantime, they're going to need him. They just do. Otherwise, they're down to, the end of their bench on these options. And even guys that they've had on the roster, like Justin Watson, he hasn't had many catches at all this year compared to previous years. So I expect them to kind of ease him into this thing. And I just don't think that you can solve this thing all in a couple days with the playbook when other guys have been here a long time. And we know historically Andy Reid's playbooks have been pretty complex. So I'd expect, if he gets in on time and everything goes well and he's still healthy, he's been out recently with an injury as well, 10 to 15 snaps for him this first game, and they sort of ease him into this thing. And from there, they can keep adding to his playbook, adding to the reel that they can go to with him, just to get some production from that outside receiver spot, which again has been depleted with injuries since we've talked about Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, and obviously Juju Smith-Schuster here lately.
Jesse Newell, our guest from the Kansas City Star. Jesse, what kind of impact can he make if he doesn't make catches? If he's just out on the field as kind of a decoy, can he make an impact and help Kansas City in that way?
Yeah, of course, it's sort of a matter of respect at some point, and so much of what these guys do for each other on the Chiefs is a matter of like, okay, are you going to double Travis Kelce? If so, you're leaving Xavier Worthy with single coverage. Oh, are you not going to respect that Xavier Worthy can run right by you and have an 80-yard touchdown? Well, if so, if you do respect that with two players, then Travis Kelce is open underneath. And so, DeAndre's getting up there in age, 32 years old. Obviously his best football is behind him. He won all those Pro Bowls, or got up to all those Pro Bowls, and rightfully so, was one of the dominant forces here, about 6-7 years ago. But at this point, it is sort of like, are you going to leave him open? Or are you going to not give him any respect over the intermediate of the field? And he's a big-bodied guy. He's a guy who can go up and get a catch. He's a guy that's physical in nature, and he's a guy that you have to respect out there. So I think there is something to that as well, just that, as much as I love Sky Moore and he has not produced, like DeAndre Hopkins is putting a little more fear into defenses, a little bit more respect in defenses than a Sky Moore would or a Justin Watson would at this point in their careers. So, I think there's something to that as well, and I think the Chiefs are going to try to utilize them as much as they can. Again, it's a complicated process at this point, mid-year, to get a guy going that has not ever played with you. But, the Chiefs didn't trade for him to just have him sit the bench either. So they'll figure out ways. Like I said, maybe the best comp that we have is a couple years ago with Kadarius Toney. They eased him in, and by a few weeks in, he was kind of pretty close to getting out there as fully with the other guys as he could get. And so at a certain point, talent trumps the rest of this stuff, and they're going to try to get him out there as much as possible.
Do you think that there's always been rumors of DeAndre Hopkins coming to Kansas City? Do you think that had any factor to Veach wanting to get this deal done?
Yeah, absolutely. I think what we've learned about Brett Veach, and I'm not sure we can say this about other GMs really, is when he and his staff have a conviction about a guy, they're usually right. And that's sort of the danger you fall into in the NFL draft, where it's like, you can be overconfident in your prediction and you can use all these resources to trade up, and it ends up hurting you in the end because you lose your draft resources. But if you look for guys that the Chiefs have traded up for here recently, they've been right. Like Trent McDuffie, they went all in for him. They used up a lot of draft capital to go up in the first round and get him. They were right. Rashee Rice, second round. Not many people had him at that point on the board. They traded up to go get him. They were right. He's been one of the best receivers in the draft class. And so They have always, here recently been linked to DeAndre Hopkins. What's interesting about his skill set is, again, he's a good jump ball guy. He's a good contested catch guy. And that's not really what Patrick Mahomes does. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't throw it into tight spaces. He doesn't give his receivers a chance, in those situations like an Aaron Rodgers would. Some of those other quarterbacks out there potentially that have had success as well. But I'm telling you, like, the beach has been linked to this guy for a long time. So they see something in him that they believe would fit well with the Chiefs offense, would fit well with Andy Reid, and would fit well with Patrick Mahomes. So I do think that played a big factor in this. And like I said, I talked on a radio station last week just about this thing last Thursday, where it's like the Chiefs have been linked in before, and when they get their eye on a guy, usually they are pretty dedicated to go out and believe in themselves that they think they found a fit. And that was always the case with DeAndre Hopkins. And so now he's a Chief, and interested to see what the Chiefs plan to do with him and how they plan to utilize him, because this has been this has been a get-together that they've been trying to plan for a long time here.
Jesse Newell is our guest from the Kansas City Star here on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline. Jesse, what's the first time we had you on the show since the season has begun? What are your thoughts on this unbeaten start to this point in time overall?
Yeah, it's been a weird year, man. Like, I feel bad for all like those Patrick Mahomes fantasy football owners out there. 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I guess he just has to languish on your bench. You know what I mean? I don't know what to do. But it's been a strange year. But I think the best thing you can say for the Chiefs is what you said, Ross, which is they're 6-0 and they beat the Ravens at home, and they look like they're sailing towards that 1 seed. And that's just a huge advantage. You know what I mean? You get the bye week, you get to play all your home games at Arrowhead, and they've given themselves a lot of cushion against a team like the Ravens, which honestly, if those two teams played on a neutral field today, Ravens probably favored, right? It's probably close. So the Chiefs are sort of in this weird spot where you feel like their offense could be better. You feel like Patrick Mahomes could definitely play better, but man, they are leaning into the run game. Those interior 3 guys of Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, and Joe Tooney are just dominating in the run game, and they're winning in such a different fashion than we all expected, but they're still winning. And so I think it's the mark of a great coaching staff. And Steve Spagnuolo on defense just continues to frustrate every single quarterback he goes up against. Brock Purdy is great against the blitz until he plays the Chiefs and he throws 3 interceptions and looks, scatterbrained out there. So it's a great job by this coaching staff, and a credit to them that even throughout this time when they've lost all these receivers and these running backs and these playmakers, that they don't seem to miss a beat like these other NFL teams have. So I think it's just a masterclass in coaching so far, and the Chiefs have put themselves in great position to have that 1 seed. And from there, that's about all you can hope for, is to get that 1 extra week of the bye, to get rested up for the playoffs, and then to have all your games at home. And if that's the scenario, then we know the Chiefs are probably going to be the favorite to come out of the AFC. If they're the favorites to come out of the AFC, they're going to have another chance to win a Super Bowl and potentially go out there, have some history as a three-peat to something no other NFL team has ever done.
And Jesse, talking about the defense quickly here, I think Steve Spagnuolo is, in my opinion, the greatest defensive coordinator in the history of the NFL with everything he's done. Just talk to me about his impact and how much it's meant to this team this year.
Yeah, and it's weird to kind of talk about him when we're talking about DeAndre Hopkins, because I just told you, like, hey, Hopkins have to come in here. Andy Reid prefers guys that have been here and kind of know his system. What's so interesting about this past offseason for the Chiefs defense was they brought in no free agents from outside the building. They brought in no free agents from another team. So, like, they were really banking on, hey, Spags has this playbook. It's complex, but they know their guys. They know their skill sets. They know how they can play them up, and they're all going to know each other and how to play this thing. And so you're starting to see some really complex things from the Chiefs defensively against the 49ers. Like, a guy goes in motion, and usually if a guy follows in motion, that means man coverage. The Chiefs didn't follow a receiver in motion, and they played zone. They still played man coverage behind it. They're doing some really creative things out there that other teams can't do, because he's had time with these guys and he's installed his whole system. And so, yeah, he deserves a lot of credit. And the Chiefs just sort of backed into, I guess, this great scenario where they have this coach in Steve Spagnuolo, who is one of the best defensive coordinators in the game, but he's probably too old to get a head coaching job. So, like I said, the coaching staff, I think, is a huge reason for the 6-0 start, and Steve Spagnuolo is definitely at the top of the list.
He's Jesse Newell of the Kansas City Star. Jesse, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Appreciate it, and we'll look forward to seeing yourself on the KC Star, and we'll catch up soon.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Appreciate it.
Once again, great stuff there from Jesse Newell of the Kansas City Star, with news on DeAndre Hopkins coming to Kansas City, and, of course, that great defense. Max with a hot take right there. Max saying that the best defensive coordinator in the history.
Easily.
No.
How many he has 4 Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator.
I don't know if he's the
And
best. Maybe he's the most winning.
He stopped the Tom Brady with the Giants in that 17-0 team as the defensive coordinator. He stopped Tom Brady, Randy Moss, and arguably the greatest team talent-wise in NFL history in the Super Bowl with the Giants. I'm just saying,
maybe the most winning defensive coordinator ever.
There is a case.
Buddy Ryan, I think, is probably considered one of the best of all time with that Bears defense that was so dominant that completely shut down every NFL team known to man. So, but
there's a case.
Hey, you have made some valid points. We'll leave it at that. All right, let's go to a break. When we come back, a very, very quick edition of the College Football Power 5. We will power through that next. You're listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Wednesday.
Even though your attention has turned back to school with events and activities, you just can't forget everything going on at home. That's where your local Hoover Lumber Ace hardware stores in Goodland and Colby come in. Keep the lawn in check with mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Craftsman, Toro, and Ego. They are still your local Benjamin Moore paint retailer, and they still have that amazing selection of outdoor grills and griddles from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. Plus, their helpful and knowledgeable staffs are some of the best in the Northwest. It's all at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
The one hail of a sale continues at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Get huge savings on not just lightly hailed on vehicles, but also ones that don't have hail or have had the hail fixed. For example, a 24 GMC Sierra 1500 Denali with no hail up to $7,000 off when you're a loyal Buick or GMC owner, now just over $68K. A 24 Chevy Tahoe RST with hail up to $14,000 off, now just $58K. It's one hail of a sale, and it continues at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Online at hurlchev.com.
At FNB Bank, we understand the backbone of our community is our local farmers and ranchers. Whether you're growing crops, raising livestock, or investing in new equipment, we're here to help you succeed. Our agricultural loans are tailored to meet the unique needs of your farm, with flexible terms from people who understand what it takes to make it in agriculture. When you partner with FNB Bank, you're working with neighbors who know the land and are invested in your success. FNB Bank, rooted in our community, growing with you. Member FDIC.
You're tuned in to the Morning Blitz.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
With Ross Volkmer.
As always, if you miss any of the conversation or any of the show, you can always catch up on the podcast. Anywhere you get your podcasts, we are available. Just search for the Morning Blitz. You can find us there. And of course, we're back on YouTube. You can always go back to the YouTube page and watch the show if you want to see our beautiful mugs looking at you. So we can certainly have you do that. All right. We got about just 7-8 minutes left to go. I always love to have more time, but this is just how it goes some days, especially when you have the news like DeAndre Hopkins. You gotta hit on that kind of stuff. It's just kind of the way it is.
Yeah, and I threw in that last Steve Spagnuolo question, and it pushed us back even. But
It's
I had
all right.
to get it out.
You know what? Honestly, I'm happy you did, because I was going to ask a question because that defense needs to be talked about.
It does.
I mean, it's the reason why Kansas City is unbeaten.
Yes.
And I could have gone longer. Just could have asked him my question about, your thoughts on Mahomes, who has more interceptions than touchdowns, yet no one really talks about it at all because they just keep winning.
Right.
So, because if that was anybody else, they would crucify the guy probably. At least the media would, but
it wouldn't be winning.
No, that's right. Winning cures all. That is an absolute fact. All right. Speaking of winning, let's get to our college football Power 5 here for week number 9. All right, so we're going to have to hammer through this very, very quickly.
Yep.
So, Max, go ahead. What do you got for honorable? If you have an honorable mention, throw it out. If not, we'll go straight to number 5.
No honorable mention for me. Number 5 this week, I have number 3 Penn State at Wisconsin. I think that is the number 5. Wisconsin's defense, I think, has allowed 10 points in the last 2 games. They're 5-2. They've been playing some solid defense, playing some solid football. Do I think they're going to win? No, but I think that there is a small chance that their defense can hold Penn State's offense, which has struggled at some points this season. Drew Allard's going to be another tough test for him against a good defense. So, yeah, I'm excited to watch that one, and we'll see if the Badgers can pull off a big upset.
I've got a quick honorable mention. I'm going Michigan State at Michigan. I love a great rivalry game. And there's great story. I mean, calling him little brother. Ripping up the Spartan logo in the center of the field with their cleats. This is a great rivalry. Michigan, by the way, scuffling. not playing great with Sharon Moore. I don't think the years ahead for Michigan football are going to be good because I think there's going to be sanctions and stuff. So I don't think it's going to be great for Michigan football in the coming years. Michigan State, they might be having some good years coming. Jonathan Smith is a great football coach. They had a great win over Iowa this last weekend. Can they carry that momentum into the big house and beat Michigan? I'm fascinated by that. Number 5 on my cultural power 5, I've got number 5 Texas at number 25 Vanderbilt. Folks, we just saw Bama lose at Vandy. Vandy has remained hot. Diego Pavia, the transfer quarterback from New Mexico Military Institute, in where the aliens land in Roswell, New Mexico, who went to New Mexico State, is now at Vanderbilt, and he's leading this great charge for the Commodores. Texas coming off a loss. You think they're going to be beat up a little bit because Georgia's just a big physical team. This game intrigues me. What if Vandy knocks off Bama and Texas in the same year? It's the greatest season in Vandy football history. That's number 5 on the cultural.
Put them in the playoffs. If they beat Texas this week, put them automatic bid. Give them the SEC bid. Just give them the SEC bid to the playoffs. Vanderbilt. Yeah, that would be ridiculous.
That is great. All right, we're moving on to
number 4.
Yeah, number 4 for my list is Boise State at UNLV Legion Stadium. Boise State's favored 3.5, and really anytime you get to see the Boise State Broncos running back play football and Alshon Gentry, it's must see TV. He's that good at football. So yeah, I mean that's really as simple as that. UNLV is they've been decent this year. I know they did have some high expectations and some promise going into the season.
Remember, they had that whole storyline with Matthew Sluka, their quarterback, who led them to a 5-0 start or whatever, and then decided to hit the transfer portal because he wasn't getting the money that he was guaranteed.
Right,
a lot of story. Here's the thing, though, about this game. This is my number 3 game, by the way.
Okay.
Boise State at UNLV is big for not only both teams are 6-1. Not only is it big in the Mountain West Conference, folks, this is a playoff game right here. Whoever wins this game puts themselves in that spot for that group of 5 entry into the College World Playoff. This is that game.
Yeah.
UNLV, Boise State. This should be a good one. And guess what? UNLV has weathered that storm from that Sluka deal. Their backup quarterback come in. They've only lost 1 game. This is going to be a good one. And like you mentioned, Ashton Jeanty, watch the future Heisman winner. Or at least he should be, dang it.
Yeah. He's been absolutely ridiculous. And have you seen those pictures of him just standing in the backfield?
He just kind of stands there, relaxed in the backfield, and then takes off. Yeah, he's a dude. He's chasing Barry Sanders' record, which I never thought would ever be touched.
No,
he's having a phenomenal showing.
So yeah, that's my number 4.
My number 4, I'm going to the Big Ten. I've got number 1 Oregon at home hosting 20 Illinois. Look, Illinois has had a remarkable season. They are a physical football team. They are going to just run the ball at Oregon and just continually pound it. And their quarterback has played very well this year. For Illinois, he's been very good. For some reason, his name is leaking me now, but he's played very good. I'm not saying Illinois is going to probably upset Oregon, but I think this game might be closer than what you might think. But Illinois at Oregon is my number 4 in the college football Power 5. Just trying to think. Yeah, go ahead. Number 3.
Okay. Number 3, KU versus K-State. Now listen. This is a lot. This is the first time really in the last, or at least last year, you could say this, but K-State, all the pressure's on K-State. I know KU this season hasn't gone nearly as good as anyone thought. And now Jalen Daniels has a win against Houston. They played well. The offense was moving. I know it's Houston and not K-State, but it feels like the pressure's all on K-State. KU has the talent. The talent is there. It's if they can execute and use the talent to their advantage. But look, I think this is a chance, and this is the game. Like, this is the season for KU. Like, they're going to come out and give it their all because this is basically the only game that matters the rest of the year is beating K-State. So that's my number 3 pick, KU versus K-State.
By the way, Luke Altmaier is the quarterback I'm trying to think of for Illinois. Luke Altmaier, 15 touchdowns, 1 pick. By the way, Illinois at 22.5 or 22 point dog. I'm telling you, take the Illini to cover that. I think it's a closer game than 3 touchdowns, in my opinion. All right, my number 3, I already mentioned it, was Boise State going to UNLV. So let's move on to number 2.
My number 2 is number 8 LSU versus number 14 Texas A&M. These are 2 teams that have not lost since week 1. LSU hasn't lost since September 1st to USC. A&M hasn't lost since August 31st to Notre Dame. So, I mean, these are 2 of the best and hottest teams in the country. Could be another playoff game for these 2 teams. It's another playoff game. So you're getting a playoff game in week 9.
Nope,
And
you
that's
are
all you need to know.
exactly right. Max Gershon, you're exactly right. And that's why it's my number 2 as well. It is a playoff game in the SEC. Great stat about them not losing since week 1. A&M got beat by Notre Dame in what was kind of a stunner to an extent at home. They have picked up the pieces. Mike Elko's done a great job in his first season. This is a very intriguing game in the SEC. And like you said, in the cultural playoff, LSU at Texas A&M. Very, very intriguing game. All right, on to the final and number 1.
Number 1.
I'm guessing we have the same number 1 here.
Maybe.
Number 21, Missouri versus number 15,
Nope.
Alabama.
No, we don't.
Wow, that's not even on your list.
It is not.
Interesting.
It's Missouri, Alabama. Look, Bama just got beat again.
Exactly.
They are going to be absolutely out for blood. Blood.
Missouri struggled. I don't even know how they won last week.
And Missouri has found ways to win games, but by the skin of their teeth a lot of this season. If you think about it.
Brady Cook's not been playing as well.
Yeah, it's not been
Cody
as good.
Schrader.
No, D2 Cody Schrader, by the way.
Is that right?
He played. I think he played at Shepherd, which is like a football team in D2 that loves to run the football. And so I think he was there, and then he went to Missouri, and he had another great showing from him. But yeah, that game didn't make my top. It would have been my top 10, but it didn't make the top 5 because I think Alabama was just going to absolutely mow over Missouri. If Missouri wins, Alabama's got a 3-loss season, and oh my gosh,
But that's what I'm saying.
happened?
That's what I'm saying. This Missouri can keep their season alive, and Bama can also. I guess I don't know.
I don't know.
It's tough.
My number 1 game, and I think it is a clear winner at number 1. Number 12 Notre Dame taking on number 24 Navy at MetLife Stadium in New York. Folks, it's another college football playoff game. Folks, if Notre Dame goes down, they're probably not making the playoff. If Navy goes down, they're definitely not making the playoff. But if Navy wins, guess what? They're still unbeaten. And this great storyline of Army and Navy possibly meeting on December 5th for a chance to, in that phenomenal showing and the Army-Navy game, and both being unbeaten with a chance to go to the college football playoff. Folks, this is what we need. We need this. America needs this. Gosh, we need to see this. I'm rooting for Navy all the way.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, Notre Dame run defense is atrocious. What does Navy do? Run the ball. Look out.
What's the
Navy.
spread for that game? I was looking, but I forgot.
Notre Dame 2 scores. Take the middies. Take the middies. Take the middies, boys and girls. Oh, that's going to be a game. I cannot wait to watch it. Cannot wait to watch it. Hope if Navy can run the ball and control the clock, Notre Dame will not get this win. If I'm a Notre Dame fan, I am scared of this game. Scared. No one likes to play the Service Academy teams in that triple option because there is an answer for everything you do defensively with that system. So anyway, that's my number 1 game. Notre Dame, Navy. Once again, in my recapping, I have got honorable mention Michigan State at Michigan. Number 5, Texas at Vandy. 20 at number 5. I've got 20 Illinois at Oregon 4. Boise State at UNLV 3. LSU Texas A&M 2. And Notre Dame Vandy at MetLife in New York. Neutral site game number 1.
And for me, it's Penn State versus Wisconsin, then Boise State versus UNLV, KU versus K-State, LSU, Texas A&M, and then Mizzou versus Alabama.
There you go. That's the Cultural Power 5 here on week number 9. Great slate. Great slate. I honestly, this is a good slate of weekend football. This is a very good one, folks. Very good one. But even better than Max's week ago there. He said it was going to be better than 2 weeks ago. So it's
yeah. It was solid. There's been 3 out of the last 4 weeks have been solid slates. Really 4. I mean,
there have been some good slates. You are right in that.
Yeah.
All right, to the walk-off.
A 3-run walk-off home run. A game-winning walk-off with a walk-off.
His second walk-off hit of the season.
In walk-off fashion. That baby's go.
You got anything in the walk-off today, Max? Anything on your mind?
Well, first off, I just saw an update that said there's a, quote, real chance Hollywood Brown returns for the Chiefs by the playoffs, which is good news and is interesting. Him and Pacheco could possibly be back. As a walk-off, Nothing's really
nothing in the sport. Did you watch the NBA last night on opening night? Did you watch NBA?
I did. Of course I did. This is LeBron James and Bronny James played basketball at the exact same time, and I can already tell Ross is not a fan of LeBron James. But myself, I am a big LeBron James fan, and I gotta say, that was pretty dang cool. Regardless of if is Bronny good, is this like, who cares? That is absolutely sick, and I think that anyone, sorry Ross, I think that anyone that doesn't think that is cool is a hater.
Yep, that would be me. That's perfectly fine. Now, if his son is not good enough to maybe play, is good enough to maybe play in the G League. I don't know if he's good enough to play in the NBA, but he's only there because of his dad. It's the only reason why he's there. And he got on the floor on the season opening night.
But it was smart. It was smart by JJ Redick to get it out of the way.
It was
smart by JJ Redick to get it out of the way. And the Lakers look good. I mean, AD with 34 and 16.
I'm more interested in Dalton Connect for the LA than anything else.
Much better basketball player. Not as cool. Much better basketball player.
We're out of here. Once again, don't forget tonight. Also, Colby Community College Volleyball, 7th ranked Trojans at home tonight. So go check them out. We'll see you tomorrow here on The Blitz.
This is Rockin' 102.5 KKCI, Goodland, Colby.